All right, we're here with Chad Alva.
Hey guys.
This is the Porn Stars of People podcast. It's episode 2. It's a big deal for you.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal for both of us.
I appreciate you being here. We're in the Creek in the Cave.
I never heard of it, but it looks very fancy and nice up there.
It is one of the cooler spots for comedy, alternative comedy, here in Long Island City.
I love the font.
And they definitely gave us a little favor here to find this spot. And today's washout weather in New York.
It's flooding out there.
So I'm happy that you could be here. I appreciate it. We had to shuffle around, but we figured it out. So here we are. Why are you in town?
I'm in town because I'm on tour with my friend's band called Drab Majesty.
Do we want to plug them? Drab Majesty. What's
Yes, they're actually a very incredible fucking band in my opinion. If you're into 80s stuff along the lines of The Cure, Sisters of Mercy, Cocteau Twins, stuff like that, very dreamy but dark. You could even call it death pop.
Then check them out. Cool.
Yeah.
Drab Majesty.
Yep.
And I missed the show, unfortunately. So
Maybe next time. Maybe next
I didn't
time.
know that. So cool. Oh, so let's kick into it. So we're in the middle of January. There's a lot going on in the world. What'd you do for Christmas? Do you do things?
Christmas, I went back home to where I grew up. I guess you could say I'm a Midwest boy. I grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I went to see my mom and my dad and my sister and the rest of my family. You know, pretty typical.
Do you have like big traditions that you do every year?
I would say just the most standard traditional
Yeah.
Christmas. You know, just Christmas Eve with my dad's family, Christmas Day with my mom's family. Wake up at her house, open presents. Just
Did you do the thing?
most
You woke up in the
standard-
morning and did the presents?
every single year.
I'm so mad. I didn't
Totally
get to do that
standard.
this year. I'm so mad at my family.
Why is that?
So my youngest sister is pregnant, and she wasn't gonna make it on time. So the rest of the family was just like, all right, we're not doing our traditions anymore. And I was like, what? I was like, there's 6 of us. Just one of
because
us
of
isn't
that.
gonna be here. Let's just do our thing. Like, she's not even coming next year because she'll have a kid. So let's do our thing. And they were like, no, we're not doing it. So we're supposed to do pajamas at night and then wake up like idiots and do presents in the morning. We didn't do presents till 9 p.m. on Christmas Day.
All because of one
It was
pregnancy.
horrific. Yeah, it was awful.
Out of a family of what you said?
It's
8?
not fair. 6 of
8?
us. Yeah.
Six
That's-
total.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm very salty about it.
Wow. I can see why, man. That
Right.
doesn't seem fair.
It's one person. But it was a tumultuous Christmas actually. So I don't know why everybody's stressed out. My parents just moved out of their house for the first time. Like 26 years they had the house. They moved to an apartment.
How are they feeling so far in the new place?
They hate it.
Yeah, I kind of figured that's what you were gonna say.
They hate it, and they're like mad at everybody about it. My father hasn't found himself new employment, and so everything was tense. So me and my father almost went to blows over, like, The Apprentice, I think it was.
What's that?
The show, the Donald Trump show that has.
Oh, you went to blows over the
over The
Apprentice.
Apprentice. Yeah,
Like you're
we almost
watching
fought.
it together and you got into a
Well,
fight
not
over
even
it.
so. Now, well, let me start here. I'm not a fighter.
Me neither.
So what happens when I'm almost in a fight with someone that I love? A lot of things start going through my head. The first thing is, how do I not be in this fight? Like, the first thing is, like, I don't want to punch this dude in the face.
And it's your fucking dad.
Right. Well, and this happened to me with my little brother one time, too, and a friend of mine in college. We're right at that point where it should be a fight, and I'm just trying to do anything I can to not make it a fight. And so with my little brother, this is crazy that this happened. So my little brother, I was holding him down. It was the first time. He's 9 years younger than me. So I was 29, 30 at the time. So he's 18, 19. So he's like, now he's the size where he can fight me.
Yeah.
We'd never been in this position in our lives because we're 9 years apart.
Right.
So we're about to fight, and all I'm just holding him down and yelling. I'm yelling "fuck you" to him. I'm holding him down, and I'm just in my head hoping that nobody. I don't want him to punch me because I have to punch him back. And so then I just think of the most drastic thing I could do, and I just yelled the N-word. I just called him the N-word, and then that stopped the fight.
Did anyone hear? Other than
Everyone. My mom was like, "What?"
Oh.
Me and my
shit.
brother
Oh,
just
shit.
got very awkward, and we both just walked away. And I think that's the only time the N-word has ever stopped a
So
fight.
that was it. You just dropped the N-bomb and the whole fight was over.
It
never
worked.
happened. Never happened.
It was incredible. It worked.
The power of the word, man.
Yeah, dude. It's the only time the N-word ever stopped a fight. I'm pretty sure. So
That could be true. That could be the situation.
I was happy about that. But so then now with my father, it was me, my cousin, and my father hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
My father has been talking the whole night. We were all watching TV, just bullshitting. And then apparently there was a part in the show that my father wanted to hear, so he starts freaking out about how he can't hear a piece of The Apprentice. when me and my cousin were talking. So by the way, we have DVR. He
so he could just rewind.
He can roll it back.
Right.
So
wow.
He starts yelling, and then I just kind of lose my shit, and I'm like, dude, it's a garbage television show. Who the fuck cares? What's your problem? Whatever. And then he goes,
got offended as fuck.
He got very offended, and he goes, whatever. Then why don't you pick something? And he hawks the remote at me, like intends to hurt me. Hawks the remote at me, like chunks my hand.
He really loves The Apprentice.
So then I just moved the thing away from me, and then he took the remote again, and then chucked it at me again, and hit me in the groin. And I was like, this motherfucker. So then I was like, all right, fine.
Did it get your ball?
He hit me right on the ball. Hit me right on my ball. Yeah.
The classic ball.
Not cool. So I take right. So then, and it hasn't hit me yet. It's the one where you don't you got your ball hit.
Right, but you don't feel it yet.
It hasn't happened.
It comes on slow.
It hasn't hit your stomach yet.
Yeah.
So I grab the remote, and I just say, you know what, fine. And I spike the remote on the ground, and it breaks into like 10 pieces. It was very dramatic, very beautiful. And then my father, in a fit of rage. My father's a fighter. He's always been a fighter.
Yeah.
He's never fought me. The last time we were almost gonna fight, I was probably 27, and we were standing eye to eye, and I could see he wanted to hit me, and then he decided that he shouldn't hit me because he didn't think he could win that fight anymore.
You think that's why he decided not to?
I could see it, yeah.
I mean, you're also his son.
That's
so.
I wish that was the reason.
Is there a little bit of that in there?
I wish
that in his heart.
No,
hopefully?
something about my family when they get offended, they need to hit somebody. And so I'm in this moment.
Where did you guys grow up?
Upstate New York.
Well, it's the East Coast vibe, man.
Just start hitting people. So we're standing there. Well, so now in this situation, I'm sitting down. So he stands up because I've just shattered his remote, his entire world.
Yeah.
And he's hovering over me, and I'm still sitting down. He starts swinging at me, and then I start bicycling his stomach. Like I'm putting my feet on his stomach, and I start pushing him away.
Straight up like Liu Kang bicycle kick.
Liu Kang bicycle kick.
Combat,
yeah, I'm like who's the guy who can't get hit? In the boxer. I can never think of his name when I need it.
I could guess some random boxers. Sugar Ray Leonard.
No, the best boxer right now, pound for pound.
I don't know, man.
The guy who just fought.
Last time I paid attention was Mike Tyson.
Well, anyway, so I'm dodging punches basically. 'Cause I'm kicking him away, and then he's still swinging. And then he gets the idea to swing at my feet, so I push him back, and then finally I stand up, and then he has that moment again where he's like, all right, I'm probably not going to hit him. And then I push him, and then my cousin has to jump in the middle of it. But again, there was this whole thing where there was this whole swing of circumstances where I'm like, I just don't want to punch my father.
Well, I can understand that.
On New Year's Day. But I feel like there's certain people that just would go for it, and they would just punch their father.
I think you have to have a very special kind of relationship to do that, Ron. I mean, I've spit at my dad a few times.
Okay.
I've never hit him.
What's the circumstance you spitting at your dad?
Oh, I don't know. I was like 5 years old.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know that it was such a sign of disrespect. And I just wanted to keep hanging out with my cousins. And he was like, no, I'm taking your cousins home now. And I just...
He gets so angry?
Pissed. I just fucking spit at him. And he, the way he looked at me, I never forgot it, man. And he's been bringing it up for years. He still brings it up.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I'm 32 now. And
yeah.
It's so like, how many years is that? I don't feel good at math right now. What is
right.
it?
27
27
like
years
that,
or something. Yeah, 27 years later, I still bring it up on occasion like that. That time you spit
Remember
at
when
me,
you spit at me?
I'll never forget. You don't respect me.
Oh wow.
But
yeah, that's the most harsh thing your father can tell you is that he's disappointed in you.
It kind of. I mean, if you respect him, then yeah.
Yeah.
then you're right.
Well, I got caught with a bunch of his Playboys when I was like 13, 14.
Well, was he mad or did he just laugh?
Well, here's what happened. My older sister thought I took her little diary, her little I don't know, it was a big thing. So you're my age, so it was a big thing, and they had these little computerized diaries.
Yeah.
It was like the hot Christmas gift. And
I don't
she had
remember that.
one. And she had one, and she was doing a thing, and she couldn't find it, and she thought I had it, so she went fishing through my closet.
Yeah.
Found my box of porn. I'm 14. What am I gonna do? I gotta have my porn.
You gotta have something, yeah.
And my sister calls my best friend. I'm over there, and she goes, "I found your special box."
Oh.
She's like, "Give me my diary,
Ouch.
or I'm showing mom." And then I knew what box she was talking about, but I didn't have her diary.
Yeah.
And I think I tried to deny my way through it. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I just hung up. And then I waited till whatever the latest, like 7:55, like whatever, like if my curfew was 8, latest possible curfew time, come back. Father's got the box sitting in front of him. It's his, they're his Playboys.
Ah, so you kind of just snatched them from him.
So he says to me, he's got his legs crossed. He's flipping through them. It was like a mafia scene. He's flipping through them very
slowly, very
smoking.
dramatically.
Yeah, like reading the articles or fake reading the articles.
Right.
Says to me, "I'm disappointed in you, son." And then he says, "The worst part is a couple of these I haven't seen yet." I was like, "Dude, you're married to my mom. I'm 14. I'm disappointed in you."
What does that even mean? A couple of these I haven't seen yet.
I got him out of the mailbox. He had because he had him.
Brand new.
He had him
fresh, huh?
filed. So there's a part of my family that's sort of like hoarding, like we're hoarders, a little bit. Like we'll just hang on to shit we don't need.
Gotta collect something, you know.
So he kept
For
them
your
all.
sanity's sake.
He kept them all in the wrapper, and lined up by month, like in the library.
So he's a bit of a OCD type
Yeah,
with his porn.
I think just with his porn, which is weird.
That's really cool.
So,
I mean, if I had my porn out on display, it would be in alphabetical order too, but I don't. It's in a box somewhere, you know.
you just shoved in a box.
Yeah.
You don't have it like. It is weird to like have like a shrine to yourself in your own house.
I mean, I had it. It's funny. The only time I did have it out on display was when I still lived with my mom.
That's hilarious.
Because that was the only time that I ever actually bought some porno DVDs.
Yeah.
In high school, you
Yeah.
know, I was like, well, I'm just gonna order some. Why not?
Yeah.
And then when I first started working, I made an effort to collect some of my own movies at first.
Right.
But
yeah, when you start, everything is like, yeah, dude, every flyer
kind of
you're
like,
on.
yeah, I need to get that. I
Yeah.
need to get it. It's special. But you know, after a couple of years, there's enough of it where it's
Yeah,
like,
you're like,
all
fuck
right. It'll always be on the internet. That's good enough.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. That actually, the internet has done wonders in helping us kill hoarding.
Mm.
That's been.
Yeah, because everything's going digital, you know.
Yeah. You
So-
can always find it. You can always access it.
Yeah, I mean that goes for almost everything at this point. It's like, you know, through my teenage years, all I spent my money on was CDs, just
Right.
buying CDs,
Right.
and it's like I've gotten rid of. I still have most of the discs,
Yeah.
but I got rid of all the jewel cases because it's just taking up space.
It's
it serves
so much
no
space.
purpose at all.
I have probably 6 or 7 shelves worth of DVDs in my house
Yeah,
that I'm not watching them.
yeah,
And I've moved. When you move to New York, you know, you hop around till you find the right spot. So I moved probably 7 times in the first couple of years because
right.
because when you first get here, you're like, oh, I got to do sublets and this and that. So I would have to move these fucking DVDs
Right.
8 times. Like that was the
Over and
most
over and over
stressful
again.
thing was moving these damn DVDs.
Of course,
I
man.
get rid of bands, throw out bands, get new bands, but these DVDs
Yeah.
for some reason I haven't
You
touched
can't
them.
let them go,
I
right?
haven't touched them. Honestly, I have so many DVDs. I think that when I was having people sublet a couple years later, I think people have stolen. I wouldn't even know. They stole DVDs. But I have no idea.
Really?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's you never really notice until you want to watch that specific.
You're like,
movie
"Where's
and you realize
Encino
it's not
Man?"
there. Oh
And it's
God.
gone.
I just watched that again for the first
Did
time.
you really?
For the first time since I was a kid, like literally 2 weeks ago, and I
Good or
always,
bad?
I always hated that movie as a
You
kid.
hated it then.
All of my friends loved it,
Really?
and I kept
Oh, that
trying.
makes it so
I
much
kept
worse.
trying it over and over again. And I was like, I just cannot stand looking at Brendan Fraser's face, like playing
Brendan
this caveman.
Fraser's the reason. Wow.
He's the main reason.
I thought
He's
you were
the
gonna
main
go
reason.
Pauly Shore.
No, the first 15 minutes are great.
Really?
When it's just Pauly Shore and what's it, Sean Astin just exchanging dialogue.
Yes, the
Just-
guy from Rudy, right?
You know, Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings.
Hilarious.
And Rudy,
Yeah,
and Rudy.
yeah.
So yeah, when they're just exchanging ridiculous, like, you know, Valley Bro talk for the
Okay,
first 15
yep.
minutes, it's kind of gold. But then as soon as Brendan Fraser comes out of the ground, man, it's just like it's painful.
Just
and
bad
and,
acting.
and I still feel exactly the same way, man. It's just something about Brendan Fraser. I wanted to come back and give it another chance and think maybe now at this point, like, I'll see the magic in Encino Man, but
There's no
it-
reason
it's,
for
it's,
that.
It's the same, man.
That's
It's
so
exactly the
funny.
same.
Encino Man.
I'm glad you brought that up, though.
That is very funny. Yeah, I've had movies where I liked them and then in the middle I hated them and then I've come back to them. Dumb and Dumber was one of those.
Throughout
movies.
your lifetime, you mean?
Yeah, we're like Dumb and Dumber when I first saw it as a kid, funny as shit any
Yeah.
of us had ever seen.
And then you went through a period where you didn't like it.
You grew up a little bit and you're like, this is so dumb.
Ha.
And you can't even appreciate the dumbness of it because you've seen like real things and art and good movies and that.
Sure.
And then, you get drunk in college and one of your buddies just puts on
Makes
Dumb
you
and Dumber.
revisit it.
And you're sitting on a futon underneath like a bunk bed and they're fucking watching Dumb and Dumber and
Yeah.
shitting yourself laughing.
I mean,
really appreciate it.
I think if I had to pick, Dumb and Dumber would be my favorite comedy film of all time.
Yeah.
So yeah. I've always loved it my whole life,
Yeah.
like deeply.
Did you ever
passionately.
see the? You know, I never saw the sequels.
Well, I saw the one when they actually did it with Jim Carrey and
Yeah.
Jeff Daniels
I didn't
and the
see
same
that.
director. Most people didn't like it.
How was it?
I enjoyed it. I haven't watched it again since the theater, but I thought people were a little too harsh on it. I think there's a serious lack of, just straight up sequels
Yeah.
by the original people who made the original.
Yeah.
It's like people don't do that anymore in
Yeah.
the last 10, 15 years. It's like it's remakes.
Yeah, now it's all remakes.
And just movies with the most bland fucking names. You know, like, well, I can't think of a good example, but I feel like there's so many movies now that are just like The Magician, The Elevator,
Yeah.
the Stakeout, just whatever. They're all the fucking same.
Oh yes.
So-
What Split came out this weekend? I actually need to see that. What?
That's another interesting case
Yeah.
because I think that most of M. Night Shyamalan's movies have been garbage.
Yeah.
I enjoyed The Sixth Sense.
Yes.
A long time
Yes.
ago. The rest of them since then I've been like, oh, no thanks. But I think the Split trailer looks incredible.
It looks great. Well,
I think James McAvoy is a
James
great
McAvoy's
actor.
incredible.
He's a great actor.
and I can't remember what there's a woman who's like 70 years old. I can't think of what her name is that's in it.
Really?
And then one of the girls from the thing was the girl from The Witch, and she was great in The Witch.
You saw The Witch?
I saw The Witch. It was great.
The Witch was
The Witch
fantastic.
was fantastic, and so I wanted to see this movie because of that. And I actually was at the round table. They did like a round table, like a little like an interview
Screening type
thing.
thing?
They didn't
Oh,
screen
okay.
it, but they did like an interview, and I wanted to
Okay.
see M. Night Shyamalan. One of my greatest M. Night Shyamalan moments or memories is I'm in a theater, and there's a packed theater, and I love previews, so I'm going for the previews.
Yeah,
Previews are on, and everybody's captivated from the preview, and it's this movie in the elevator, and it's a beautiful preview. You know what I'm talking about?
No. It's called In the Elevator?
No, I don't know what the movie was called. I think it's called Devil or something. But
Oh, yeah, he produced
the
it.
whole movie is in the elevator.
The whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, and so the preview is captivating.
Is it?
It really is a piece. So everybody in the theater's like, oh, and on, and everything, and they're like in it, and they're in the moment. And then they say the name of the movie, and then it says from the legendary director M. Night Shyamalan, and the fucking place goes up with laughter.
Really?
Because it's whatever the three projects leading up to him doing that movie
We're all garbage.
were garbage. So
Like The Village and Lady in the Water.
oh my
and stuff
god,
like that.
people pissed themselves laughing. It was one of the most incredible, non-intentionally funny moments of my life. Like just for a room full of people that were that into a thing,
That
and
all
then
thought
to
he was such a joke.
immediately decide that it's bullshit. It was incredible.
Well, it's also incredible when someone can, make that happen from their name alone. Like,
Yeah.
to turn into that big of like a scoff or like a
Yeah.
fucking joke. It's like,
And there's not. I mean,
and it's like I'm sure there's a good chance that he actually is a great person and
I think he's
a
a good
great
person.
talent.
I think
but
he's a good person.
this is just what happens.
I
in
think
reality,
he's a good
you know?
storyteller too. I really think this seems like this movie could be incredible. It also could be horrible. It has that. It's right in the edge. It's on the cusp. Because doing all these characters, like he's doing the James McAvoy doing split personalities,
Right.
could be off the charts incredible,
I've heard mixed things. I'm definitely gonna go see it when I get home from this tour.
and it could be just a horror show, like not the right kind.
Where are you gonna go find out?
I'm gonna find out on Tuesday. I have a thing on Tuesday. I go every
Yeah?
Tuesday to the movies. I don't know.
Cool.
It's the thing I've been doing for a while.
I'll probably go see it on like Friday or something like that.
Now, what's your movie? Do you go with people? Do you get popcorn? What do you have to do?
When I go to the theater,
Yeah. What's your move?
most of the time I go with this girl who I've been seeing for a few years.
Okay.
So
That's
I
the good
like,
movie.
I like that vibe. Just going with the lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to. I somewhere in the last few years, I just decided that movies. Like if you go alone, it's just a better vibe. Because
I do love going to movies alone, and I find it very interesting
Yeah.
when people are like, "Oh, I can't go to a movie
Yeah.
alone." It's like, why not? You're just literally watching a movie.
Yeah. People think they can't do anything alone.
Yeah. People
I'll
are
go
afraid
out
to.
to eat alone. I'll go. It's just like really is a freedom to doing that.
I think it's great. Like that. There's that Tumblr account. It's just called Table for One. Table for One.
Okay.
It's just like people out at restaurants eating by themselves.
It's just pictures. Oh, that's
Yeah,
hilarious.
It's great.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And I think it's kind of uplifting
Yeah.
to look at. So.
It depends because some of the people could be very, very just not happy, just very upset that they're alone. But the people that do have the appreciation to go alone and actually enjoy it
That's the only way to truly, make it through life successfully is to be able to conquer that whole vibe of being completely fucking alone.
Be able to,
No matter what
be
you're
able to
doing.
be by yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one thing about New York that that you can't be alone as successfully as you can, like in the suburbs, or even like you're in LA, so you have a car.
I do have a car. I've always had a car.
So if you're alone in a car, you can be a little bit crazy, and you can like rehash a conversation. You can yell a little bit. You know what I mean? You can get off the phone and be like, "Motherfucker!" But if you do that in New York, you don't have a car, so you get off the phone, you go, "Motherfucker!" And then now you're just a crazy person on the street. Like that's half those people I think are just.
But you probably hear a lot of that though, right?
There's
people
that's
shouting out on the streets of New York.
Well, I realized in the last couple of years that I talk to myself more than I'm willing to admit.
Yeah.
So if there's nobody around, I'll start having a conversation.
I do it a lot too.
But the problem is I always catch a witness. Like I'll be and nobody's around, and then I'll get a corner, and then there's two people, and then I was just crazy guy talking to himself.
And then does that embarrass you every time?
You get embarrassed. Yeah, you get a little embarrassed. The thing is, embarrassment's weird because as long as it's on your terms, you can't really be embarrassed.
No, I don't know. Embarrassment is a weird thing. I don't relate to it that much.
You don't get embarrassed.
Very rarely.
The time when I realized that my embarrassment is not on a human level was when. Well, and there was a realization before that. So I gotta go to the bathroom. My little brother, the door doesn't lock. My little brothers, the family's all hanging out. So I go to record my little brother. I go, yo, the stall door is like way far away. I gotta drop deuce, and I need you to just guard the door because there's no lock on the door.
Okay, well that's an important situation.
And he just goes, no, I'm not doing that. So I was like, I have to shit. There's no way around this. And he's like, I'm sorry, man, I can't help you. So I just go in the restroom and I sit down and I'm like, well, I got to do this and somebody's gonna walk in, and I just got to prepare myself. And so I sat down, started playing on my phone.
No way.
3 minutes late, 3 minutes in, guy walks in. I don't even look up. I just go, sorry, man, door doesn't lock. And then he took the embarrassment. He was like,
probably.
I'm sorry. And somebody has to take the embarrassment.
Somebody does, yeah. So if you
deflect
put on the vibe exactly where where he can tell you're comfortable and you walk in on him, it goes right to him. Man. Yeah, it goes right to him. Exactly.
Imagine if you walked into the stall and there was just a guy chilling. just an older dude chilling, no problem. Give me a second, buddy.
The worst is if they don't even say anything. They just look up at you and they just look into your eyes.
Full eye contact.
Straight face.
Oh God, you would never forget that person's face, ever.
Well,
that would haunt your dreams.
Yeah, I guess. Damn, I did walk in on my grandma naked once.
Oh my God.
That was a bummer, man.
Oh my, that's.
I mean, just in the exact sense that you said, it was like I can never forget the outline, like the image.
Did
like
she yell? Did she see you?
Well, that was the worst part. It was she was staying at my family's home when I was younger. I was probably like 9 or something, 9 or 10. And I went into my mom's room for a second because she had a mirror on the back of the door.
So that was your spot.
So I went into the room.
Make sure you got your swag right.
I just wanted to use the mirror real quick. So I go into her room. I close the door behind me and start looking into the mirror, and then. I can't remember what my grandma said. I think she just said, "Excuse me."
So
but then I look over and she's like in the center of the room, completely naked.
So now you're locked in the room, or at least you're closed in the room.
Yeah, in the closed room with her, naked. And I look over to her, and then she turns to me for some reason after she says, "Excuse me."
She had her back to you before?
Yeah, she was kind of like facing off to the side. So like after she says, "Excuse me," I look to her, and then she turns to face me directly. With her hands on her hips, like, excuse me.
She repeat it? She said, excuse me again?
No, she only said it once, but it's just like, at that point, it's just like echoing in my head. And I'm just like, the outline of the front of her naked body is just like, boom, like imprinted in my head.
Oh my God. So did you panic?
I mean, in my head, I did. I froze for a second, like trying to process what I was looking at. Yeah. And then I just left the room. I left the room and said sorry, but it was like, that image was just like, it's like after you
still there?
It's like when you see a bright.
Are you seeing it right now?
You see a bright fucking light, and it takes like an hour for it to get out of your eyes. You know?
Blank naked grandma.
Yeah, oh. I mean, I can still see it. It's still like a bright light now that we're talking about it. You know, it was something, man. It never went away.
Wow. Yeah. No, I've never. Thank God, I've never seen a grandparent. I've seen my parents. My mom would panic when I would see her. My dad would just be chilling, like he wouldn't care. Like
you remember The Shining?
The Shining.
The movie The Shining.
Yeah. Wait. Which one's The Shining? Yes.
Stanley Kubrick horror film from 1980.
Yeah. the hotel.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember every scene from the movie, but you know, much respect to my grandma. Like, love her. She was a wonderful woman.
Yes.
But if you haven't seen it, it might not be that relevant. But there's one scene in the movie where Jack Nicholson, when he starts to go crazy towards the end, he keeps being led to this one specific hotel room.
Yeah.
And he eventually goes in there, and there's this woman in the bathtub who's like, she appears to be this sexy young woman.
Yeah.
Woman at first, like tantalizing him, seducing him, telling him to come into the bathtub, and so he's like all into it. But then at one point, all of a sudden, she transforms into this old like rotting woman.
Yeah.
Who's like, it's like the most terrifying part of the movie, and she's just walking right towards the camera very slowly like, and it's like, that is parallel with that memory to me.
Okay. Sure.
It's like somehow the feeling I got from that visual, from
which was first?
Seeing my grandma naked was first.
So then, when
I finally watched The Shining, it was like it warped me back to like that visual and that feeling. So it's like, but it's one of the best horror movies ever.
That's what a great movie can do.
So those will always be parallels for me.
Oh my god, that's crazy. That's insane. Oh.
Sorry to take you off track.
No, there's no track. There's no track. No, you're doing great. That's awesome. So this week for me has been, I've been trying to like tie up all kinds of loose ends in my life. So one of them was my dog got run over by an ambulance.
Oh shit.
Last year around this time.
Oh, he or she?
She. And she's fine.
She survived?
She lived 29 stitches. She's tiny.
Well, that's good news.
But it cost a bit of money, and I had to do one of these GoFundMe campaigns, which is an embarrassing thing to have to do because you have to admit to the world that you can't really handle your financial responsibilities. So we did that, and over the last year, the company that ran her over has basically denied that they were involved at all. We had video, we sent it to them. And every step of the way they've been sort of disrespectful, and because right now we're resolving it, I'm not going to mention the company, but but they basically they would call the guy who ran the company would call me, and the bigger thing is that it's run by a city in New Jersey, so it's not like it's like one of these smaller private volunteer organizations. It's run by an entire city, which means for them to make an insurance claim, write a check, very little.
Mm-hmm.
But so the whole time they've been basically trying to deny that it happened, deny they were involved, and try to muddy the waters on which ambulance. Like, well, how do you know which ambulance it was, and all of this stuff. We gave them a video. Somehow they lost the video, and that was the last copy, and they wouldn't give it back, and all this other stuff. So this week, hopefully, we're at the place where I finally got an email from the insurance company. The mayor stepped in, and he has taken over and said, "Hey, we're gonna make right on this."
Really?
So the insurance company sent us an email and said that they're going to send me a check for the vet bills, whatever.
Damn, what a process, man.
It's been pretty awful.
Yeah, sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah.
It's like not very funny,
It's not funny at all.
It's not funny.
No. Like again on the bright side, she's great and she's wonderful now. So everything is good. But I just had this kind of just pit in my stomach feeling for the year.
Yeah, you gotta get that all taken care of, man.
Like
you
just resolve.
Find closure to that situation, and justice even.
Yeah. Well, that's what it felt like. It felt like injustice to me.
Yeah. And you can't let that shit slip.
Yeah.
You gotta take care of it.
Yeah. Do you have anything that's like lurking around in your life?
Oh, I'm in a pretty good fucking place right now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's just kind of, it's pretty smooth sailing lately.
Yeah.
Everything's making sense. Just working on projects. Been seeing the same girl for years, like I said.
How many years?
Got a nice place. A little over 3 years.
How'd y'all meet?
I mean, it's been on and off, but we're like pretty on again right now. So.
That's great.
How did we meet? It's just a typical story, man. Every girl I've ever connected with, I just met on a different social networking site.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just.
Wait, so what's the weirdest one?
The weirdest one?
Yeah.
Oh, that would definitely be a porn-related one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, probably about 9 years ago, there was a website that was, the way, like the template, the way it was set up, the way it functioned, it was exactly like MySpace. Except
porn on MySpace.
Exactly, it was porn on MySpace because it was the same system except for you could post naked pictures on there.
Okay.
So it was for people who either wanted to get into porn or who were already in porn.
Yeah.
And it was called X Peeps.
Okay, and it's gone. It's long gone.
I'm pretty sure. I think it turned into a webcam site.
Okay.
Because, like, you know, that's just a way for people to make money or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's this girl, I think my band met her once on tour. We were playing like a metal festival in Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's called like Maryland Death Fest or whatever.
That's great.
So my band met her there and we just all thought she was a babe. And then I think 6 months later I just stumbled upon her on that website.
Oh, that's great.
And she had like just done her first scene, her
That's
first
great.
boy girl scene, so I was like, instantly I was just like, whoa. Like that fucking babe from our show.
Direct
She's gonna
message.
do porn now. So yeah, I did. I just hit her up, but like stayed like real and respectful and like fanboy style, and was just like, yo, you're gonna be such a big deal. You're so beautiful. Like I'm so excited for you to do this, and we just kind of kept in touch like on that level for like 6 months or so. And then my band happened to record our final album in Baltimore.
Okay.
So then we finally, you know, connected in real life then.
That's IRL.
And ended up, you know, becoming a couple and moving to LA to get into porn together.
No shit.
So, yeah.
Oh, that was how it started. That's very
Yeah.
cool. Oh, wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm trying to think. Yeah, you haven't met anybody in real life that you've dated in a while. That's the world that we're in. Isn't that weird?
I haven't really, man.
That's so
no,
weird.
Like literally, if you go down the line, I mean, my first real girlfriends were like junior high and high school,
Yeah.
so that's different.
You gotta meet him in high school.
But
yeah.
everything post high school,
Yeah.
it was literally like the next one was MySpace, the next one was X Peeps, the next one was kind of in a sense that fucking website OkCupid.
Yeah.
That dating site.
Yeah. What do you mean in a sense?
Well, we already knew each other. We had met in
Okay.
passing at parties and shit.
Right. And then you
But
see
then
him
we
on
came
there.
across each other's
Right.
profiles. We matched. We started joking
Yeah.
around on there, and then we started actually hanging out.
It's so funny.
And then the last girl was Instagram. So.
It's so fucking. Here's what it does. Is it puts us in a position where we don't ever actually have to experience rejection like our grandparents and our parents did.
I think that's probably why I go that path so
Yeah.
often, because I know it's an instant way around. So it's like verbal reaction.
You know that she's into you. It's done.
That's true.
Yeah.
And even if you do get rejected on the internet, it's
Not
much
real.
It's so much simpler.
It's not real.
It's
yeah.
like, oh, you read a sentence. and
Right.
It's
Well, no,
yeah.
it's mostly just they go away. Nobody
Or they don't
actually,
respond, yeah.
nobody rejects anybody anymore. It's all ghosting. So it's just all just.
That's
we
true.
did that. We did that the whole last episode was about ghosting basically.
With Stevie.
Yeah, we talking about because she kept ghosting on me, which she has I'm nobody. Like she doesn't know me. She's every right to ghost me. She's the
Right.
she's the guest on the thing, but I keep putting myself in a position where I'm getting ghosted, and it's like really bumming me out because it's like I'm trying to figure out what it is about me.
Well, good luck avoiding that when you work with more porn girls, man.
Well, yeah, that is the concern. But I think that's what kind of got me into the sort of the loop of like, you know what, I got to get all of this crap out of my life. I got to get anybody who's been lurking around and pretends like they're real and they're not real. Gone. Let's get the thing figured out with the dog. What else did I figure out? Oh, this was the thing. This was the starting point in my head. Was I've been banned. I've been on the do not rent list on Hertz for like 5 years.
Yeah, what's up with that?
So, and I didn't know this like for a while. So what happens is I don't know how to start the whole story. So I'm at Newark Airport and I'm trying to rent a car and I had reserved it on one of these sites like a Hotwire or something like that.
Yeah.
And right before me they had told the dude that was trying to get his car that he couldn't get a car because he rented from Hotwire and they're just not going to honor it.
Yeah.
So he left. So then I went up, and I had some inkling that something like this was going to happen. So they said, "No, we can't do this," and they like kind of made up a reason. It was a credit card related thing, something about the address is not matching. I live in New Jersey, but I had a New York State ID still.
Yeah.
Because I live here, and I'm not driving, so I don't need a New York or New Jersey driver license.
Right.
So they said, "No, we need something that matches the whatever." So I left. Go a half hour home, come half hour back with paperwork, lease, everything, and then they still just go, "We're not going to give you a thing."
Wow.
And they just wouldn't give me the car. They didn't have like a real reason, and that's what upset me the most. But they're just not going to give me the car. So I go home defeated, and then I end up taking. And this is all to go to my little brother's 21st birthday to kind of make sure that he doesn't like die.
Pretty important event, actually.
Yeah, and go. So I had to go to Albany.
Yeah.
So I go and get on a bus the next day, and the whole time I'm on the bus, I'm tweeting at Hertz. Just getting all the demons out, just being a comedian about
Catharsis.
it. Yeah, and some of them might have been like fake threatening, like whatever. Not like
How far? How far
Not
did
like
you take it?
yeah, not like fuck you hurts. Like I think it was just like
I've got a knife.
yeah, no, I think it was just literally like things like that awkward moment when you would rather piss on the desk or smash the monitor, things like that, right? Nothing real. And then I caught on about an hour in that Hertz's their handle was Hertz cares.
Really?
So I just kept tweeting if Hertz cares, then blah blah blah. Just like
Right.
just
Then
this
care about me.
template for 3.5 hours.
Love me.
And that's when I realized, as a comedian with no followers on Twitter, if you tweet at Hertz, all that happens is your mom calls you and asks you what happened with the car rental. And like if you were Jay-Z and tweeting, like they would like send you a car and a girl. And,
Yeah, like a bunch of free cars.
a helicopter. So, fast forward a couple years, my brother starts working for Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I go to rent a car, and because he's there, we're good. Like he had his manager to approve it, we're good. But then the next time I'm there, they basically tell me that I'm on this list, this do not rent list, that's across all of the rental companies, and it's in the system that I threatened an employee.
What?
Yeah, and so
because of the tweets.
I must be from the tweets because I was there. I was in. First of all, you can't threaten a human being in an airport and not be arrested on the spot.
Really?
I mean, if I threaten somebody, if I legitimately threaten a person, which again I already said I don't fight. Yeah, then they would call somebody.
True. There's a lot of security.
You don't just threaten an employee of like a Walmart and they just go whatever man and walk away. Like they would there would be some consequences.
They take action.
So none of that happened, and so I'm just racking my brain. And the process to get off the list is actually it's horrible. Yeah,
I'm sure, dude.
So a couple times I'm there trying to rent a car and I can't rent a car, so I end up having to do crazy other things to get to gigs. So I end up buying a car, this and that, the other thing, the last couple of years. So it wasn't an issue. So today, just for some reason, on the same notion, I was like, let me call and see. And so the only thing they have to look up is your ID. Now, since I've switched IDs to New Jersey, so I called, gave them my New Jersey ID, and they're like, oh, we don't have anything on you. And then they just hung up.
That's it?
So that's it. So the Dan Frigolette with the New York State ID is still on the do not red list. But this Dan Frigolette with the New Jersey ID isn't free and clear, I guess.
Well, I mean, that's the most important one, right?
I guess.
How often do you go to LA?
Well, I gotta go more often, but yeah, the big thing that we do every year is we rent a car and we drive cross country.
Oh, really?
We drove to Alaska 2 years ago. Last year we drove from LA back to New York.
How was Alaska? It's one of the only states I've never been to.
Alaska is incredible.
Yeah?
I didn't do enough of it, but it is absolutely incredible, and you have to go.
Do you eat some good seafood out there?
This is what was crazy. So I went because the guy that so I run an event called Make Me Laugh, and the guy who won the one in Albany was from Alaska. I was just asking him, what do we have to do to get to Anchorage? And we planned this whole crazy thing to drive there, because that's the thing I wanted to do, because I missed out on an opportunity to do that when I was younger. A buddy of mine was doing it, and I couldn't go. So it was stuck in my head. So we get there, and for whatever reason, you can't get like fresh, what is it called? Smoked salmon in Alaska.
What?
Yeah, it's still all the packaged shit.
Not the right region.
It doesn't make. I don't know, because they send it all away. I don't know. They send it all. I was like freaking out. I was like trying every time to like go and order smoked salmon. And the smoked salmon, and like all the Alaskan people were like, we don't know what you're like. Why are you freaking out? I was like, I gotta go back to New York to get like a good smoked salmon sandwich.
Don't they call it Alaskan salmon?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
sometimes?
Yeah, it really stressed me out. It really bummed me out.
That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't have an explanation for that myself.
They just send it away.
It'd probably bum me out too.
I don't think because
you don't go up there to eat at Red Lobster.
Well, I think this is what it is. When you're from an area that does a thing, you don't give a fuck, right?
What do you mean?
When you're from the area that's known for that thing, the only people that care about that thing, whatever it is,
are the people who come from
outside.
outside.
Are the people who come from out of town, the tourists.
Of course.
You don't give a shit about any of that stuff. Like when I go down to Maryland and see my buddy, we'll go get crab, but he's just like whatever. It's not even like he'll be like, today's not like the crab day. Like he's like like he just doesn't want to do it. And
that spicy attitude.
Yeah, and he's like well no, today's not the best. He's like he knows the schedule or whatever. I'm like, I don't care, man. I'm in Maryland today. Today's fucking crab day.
That's awesome. Just like when I'm home in Minnesota, I don't want to spend that much time at the Mall of America.
Yeah, that's what it is, right?
Fuck that
How
place.
horrible is that place to you?
It's just really boring. There's
Yeah.
there's no special stores there that you wouldn't see everywhere else. It's just a whole lot of the same.
And it's probably, honestly, pretty difficult to like get around. because it's
I
big.
mean, it takes a while. You gotta do some walking.
But it's like, I go to the mall to like, I'm like, I need a thing. I gotta
You
get
want
that
to
thing.
get right there. And
Get in, get out.
Same.
Done. And then that seems, and so we have a mall. So you don't know this about Syracuse, but Syracuse has a mall that they've been touting as going to be bigger than your mall
Oh,
for
really?
the last 10 years. And that's the whole thing. And we
Sounds like a war.
and they haven't matched it. But even then, just with the little additions that they have done, they have. It's like it's a bitch to get in and out. You can't park. There's no way to get in and out of that motherfucker.
Does not sound ideal.
It's not good. And then from that point, it's like why do you want to be the second biggest mall? Like why? Like no, who wants to be on that list?
What's the point?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the Mall America has
How about
been
just have quality stores and that's
Yeah.
it. A good little slew of quality.
strip malls.
You know?
What's your? Do you have like a weird go-to thing that you do or that you eat or that you use? Do you have like a?
That I do.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think.
Well, what's
like,
a good example?
I
of
don't.
something
I don't.
Like that?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think. I'm a very weird dude already. So I do a bunch of shit that to outsiders probably looks weird.
Like what?
And I don't know until it's like happening. And then they're like, "What are you doing?" But I was just trying to think if there's a thing that you have that's like
weird habits.
Yeah, like a habit, like a thing that keeps you keeps you sane. Dunkin' Donuts keeps me sane, which is not even a good coffee,
Oh.
but it's consistently the same.
I was thinking of weird like OCD tics.
Yeah.
Like weird things like I have this weird thing I do if I'm like really concentrated on something. If I'm like driving a car
Yeah.
or reading or writing, I like take my fingers when I don't notice and I'm like rub them by my lips.
And you rub on your lips.
Like
Now,
by
are you
my
rubbing?
lips.
Like, do you have hairy fingers?
They're pretty hairy.
What's the? Because I do that. I end up doing that, but it's like a beard. It's like a shitty beard rub.
I don't know why I do it.
Yeah.
I just do. And ever since I cut my hair off, I just like. Play. It's not as interesting to verbalize it, but I play with my ears.
You play
a
with
lot.
your ear.
Just all day. I don't
Yeah.
know why. I don't know why.
It's like little ticks.
It's
I
weird
had.
shit.
I used to bite my nails. That was my big tick, and I still pick my
Yeah.
nose.
I went from the nice, but there's nothing. I don't know. Picking your nose gets a bad rep. It's like it's so good to do it, you know.
It's not
to get that just to get that shit out of there and clear it up. You know, it feels so much better.
I think the problem is it's associated with eating it.
Yeah,
Which
you're
is-
probably right.
which is horrific.
Because you think of picking your nose most when you're the kid,
Right.
or when you're a
They pick and
kid,
eat.
and kids are the ones who often eat their boogers.
Yeah.
Quite frequently.
That's
So,
one of the only things in life that will make me nauseous is seeing somebody go boog to mouth.
pretty fucking disgusting.
It's one of the things that really bums me out. But then I pick mine. I was very happy to do it.
I'll pick it happily. I've never eaten a booger though, and I
Yeah.
don't ever plan on it. You know.
I may have accidentally.
Yeah. Well, that's
Gotten
different.
one
A
in
little
the mouth.
piece.
Yeah.
Little piece, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, my nose, it's a fucking jungle up there in my nose, man. I mean, every time you get a big crusty out, there's
Gotta
like
clear
a
space,
few
man.
hairs
It
like
feels-
sticking in there
It feels
too.
good.
It feels great, man.
Yeah.
Nothing better than a freshly free nose,
Yeah.
free nasal cavity, you know.
So I guess my pitch on the thing with me being banned from renting cars. Is there anything that you're currently banned from? Is there any place you're not allowed to be? Is there anything that you like? Is there a place that you've gone that something happened so bad that you won't go there? You set yourself banned.
Nowhere that interesting, man. I
No?
mean, I got caught shoplifting when I was like 20.
What were you taking?
Literally just herbal essences, shampoo and conditioner, and that's it.
And you could afford it.
Probably. I mean, I was broke because like I had just started touring in bands and
Yeah.
like, so like the lifestyle was never about money back then.
Yeah.
It was like we were pretty much always broke. We would make just enough money to like we toured so often that I technically didn't live anywhere. Like,
Sure,
so
sure.
I didn't have to pay
Yeah,
rent.
right.
I literally paid like liability insurance on my car that I would use when I would come home.
Yeah.
And a cell phone bill, and that
Okay.
was it.
So
So,
were you
like-
guys legit? I mean, you guys you're talking big tour bus, the whole deal?
I mean, we toured in a van, but
Okay,
we
yeah.
we were like a hardcore / metal type band.
Yeah.
So like, we would people would come to our shows, like they'd be pretty packed out.
Yeah.
You know, like hundreds of people most of the time.
Yeah.
But mostly like 16 to 18-year-old kids.
Okay.
But yeah, we would make just enough money to keep the machine going.
Sure,
We
yeah.
would keep making merch. We
Yep.
would keep touring.
Yep.
And then we would get paid out small amounts at the end of the
Yeah.
tour. So then we'd have enough at the end of a tour. We could go like feed ourselves for 2 weeks.
Right.
And that's it. And
Yeah.
then we'd go
You
back
gotta
on
go
tour.
back out. Yeah.
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 But why did we start talking about
Herbal
this?
essences.
Oh yeah. So during that phase, one time at a grocery store at
So
home.
you needed it.
Well, I was used to. I had a lot of friends at that age who just always stole from the store
Mhm.
because it was just like It was just normal at that time. Everyone's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, stealing is so easy. It's no big
Yeah.
deal." So like, I just got used to that.
Yeah.
And this one time, I just like kind of like used a different method that I guess looked stupid and got me busted.
Wait, so then let's talk about this. What's the proper method, and then what's the error in your ways?
Well, the error was, it was a grocery store called Cub Foods. I took one of the plastic bags that you would get as you're checking out.
Yeah.
I like grabbed it as I came in.
Yeah. That's smart, no?
I don't know, I guess. Nobody else really does that, so
Okay,
it probably
yeah.
looks funky right
Yeah.
away.
Okay.
So I grabbed the bag, I went and grabbed the shampoo and conditioner, put it in the bag,
bag.
was walking around with the bag, and then just walked out.
Yeah.
And I guess they saw me with the bag on the security
Oh,
cameras,
right when you
and
walked
they thought
in.
it looked funky.
Yeah.
So,
Like, why does this kid need a bag? What's he gonna do with this bag?
right. So it was just kind of, I said earlier that I don't really get embarrassed very often, but
Yeah.
that time I was actually pretty embarrassed, you know?
Because you're
I'm
like,
like-
what are the because it's all about embarrassment's all about consequences. Like, what are the consequences now?
Yeah, pretty much, man. So then, you know, they were like, "Excuse me, sir, come with me," and I wasn't gonna run away. I'm not
Yeah.
that type of dude, you
Yeah.
know? I'm not like bottom of the barrel or whatever. So I came to
So
the
you're like, I'm gonna admit this.
Yeah, so I came back to the interrogation room, so all embarrassed. I'm literally wearing my own band's shirt at the time, with a
Okay.
fucking giant exploded fetus on it,
Okay,
and like
alright.
an inverted cross on the top. And you know, none of us were actually like, you know, into blasphemy or any of that shit, but it just goes along with the territory when you're playing like, you know, death metal type
Sure.
stuff. So yeah, I just confessed and was like, "I'm sorry. Here, punish me how you have to," and then I was banned from the grocery store.
Oh, you got
for-
banned?
for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my
1 year ban?
That was my main punishment. And I think it was like a.
They didn't call the cops?
I don't think so.
They didn't make you pay for it?
I
They
think
just
it-
took this shit away from you?
I think someone came because I think it did get filed as like a misdemeanor.
Okay, it did.
So yeah, it was on my record for a brief period of time.
But let's just go to the judge. You know, you look.
Yeah, I
you
didn't
look
have
at
to.
your-
I didn't have to go to court. Or
You didn't go to
anything.
court,
It just
okay.
went. It just went right to my record
like a
immediately.
ticket. Oh, no
yeah.
shit.
And I think it was on there for 4 years.
No shit.
And it was my local grocery store, so it was kind of annoying that I was banned from it for a year.
Right, because that's the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
You don't realize how people go to grocery stores until you can't go to the one that you're supposed to.
Right,
go
and
to.
then all of a sudden it's like, well,
Fuck, where am I gonna get
now?
groceries? Yeah.
Because you don't want to just go to like a 7-Eleven type place.
Right.
That everything costs more
It's
than
not
like a
good,
jug
yeah.
of milk or
Yeah.
whatever, you know. So.
Which is all we have down here. That's the thing. Was my grocery store was too far when I lived in Brooklyn. Too far.
Yeah.
So you go to the bodega and then just try to like make friends with the guy so that the prices would come down a little bit.
Is that how it works? You just
You try.
barter?
Yeah,
Just
you
barter
try.
with everything there?
Well, that's the thing you learn in New York. I didn't know this before. Because I grew up in upstate New York, so just like when something costs something, that's what it costs, and it's in a store. That's official.
Right, that's how
it
it
seems
is.
official, right? But and that's actually this reminded me because it happened to me 2 days ago. I was in Time Warner Building or something, and there was like a little bodega in the corner, and they had licorice that I love, and I don't ever see it, so I was like, I'm gonna buy this licorice.
What's it called? What kind?
It's Darrow Lee. It's Australian chewing licorice.
Yeah, never heard of
It's
it.
delicious.
Awesome.
And I went to get it, and he's like, and the guy says, I think he says $4.50, which is a lot for licorice, but I was like, fuck it, I'm already in this. I'm already
Right.
in this
It's
interaction.
rare licorice. You gotta pay the price.
So I take out my credit card. There's a paying for everything credit card, and the guy looks at the credit card. He looks at me. He goes, "No cash," and I go, I just shrug, and then he goes, $5.50, and I was like, "What?" And I was like, "No, forget it, man." Like and then that's when I realized if you're just making up prices, then $2. I'll pay $2. Like
Right.
I didn't realize this thing. So my father used to win all these trips when he worked in insurance and he was a sales manager, and so he'd bring the family on all these trips. And we're in Florida. And we're at one of these, like, you know, just ridiculous resorts, and we're at one of these places called, like, Krabby John's or something, and they sell whatever they sell crab or whatever the fuck, whatever the thing is in Florida. And there's a shirt, and this guy Joe Biggiotti, I probably shouldn't say his real name, he goes to buy a shirt, and they were like $22, and he was like, "I'll give you 10." This is a guy who's from New York, so he just realized that like nothing ever costs what you could just barter everything.
Right.
And it was like a 16-year-old kid behind the counter. Who was just like, "No, man, it's $22. I don't really know."
He's probably harder to bargain with than anyone, a 16-year-old.
Yeah, because he's got to get 3 more people to approve the sale now if he does this whole thing.
Right, so that's the whole process, but then there's also the fact that 16-year-olds don't really have a full comprehension of, you know, how hard we really have to work for our money, how much every penny counts, you know.
Yeah.
As working adults,
Well, that's probably
right?
true. That's probably true. Well, he probably does because he's probably making $7 an hour to fucking have to argue with Joe Biggiotti from Brooklyn.
Yeah, speaking of you, why does it say Boardwalk Empire on your
Oh yeah,
business card?
I was on Boardwalk Empire. I was
You were a character?
nothing real. I was just I was a non-speaking part.
Oh, non-speaking.
But I got lucky enough to. This is the way they cast the show. Is they just basically they hired like 50 gangsters,
Yeah,
and
you
they're
were
just
one of those.
they're
huh?
in all the scenes.
You got the look for that, man.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, so
for sure.
when you
Tommy
start
gun.
acting, you get they start to typecast you. So my first role was dude who's no, what was it? It was a Syrian refugee. Was my first role.
Got it, perfect.
Big beard, the whole thing.
Awesome.
Second role was a guy in the Marines trying to infiltrate the Taliban, and the third role was 1920s gangster.
That's a pretty good array, man.
So that's what I look
Pretty
like.
good array.
And then now you saw my card. So the joke that I really want to get rid of, but that works amazingly on stage, is that I talk about how somebody told me I look like Fat Aladdin. So that's the back of
Fat Aladdin.
Yeah.
I would not have thought of that, man.
Yeah, man.
You didn't get to hang out with that actress Paz de la Huerta, did you?
No, who is that?
She's one of the female leads on Boardwalk Empire. She's kind of like she always plays like kind of a like lushy, like
Which
slutty
one?
character.
Which one was she?
And like I think she's definitely an acquired taste, but I
Love
find
it.
her very appealing.
Yeah.
And I would like to
Yeah.
meet her at some point.
Well, listen. Now that you're on the Porn Stars and People podcast, this is
I hope you're listening to this,
The
Paz de la Huerta.
the opportunities are limitless now. No,
Alright.
it's a great show. You ready to dismount?
You think you got what you need?
Yeah, we can dismount if you want.
My other guys are just kind of like,
No, they're like, we're not on this podcast. This isn't fun anymore.
yeah, they're like, all right,
we're at a
almost
comedy
done, buddy.
we're at a comedy club with no comedy shows.
Yeah, we're gonna go get some Korean food, man.
All right,
you
what
like
do you
Korean
think?
food?
I've never had Korean food actually. I don't know anything about Korean food. I know that they go a little different with the sushi, and I know there's a couple other things but I don't have a lot of Korean food information.
It takes some time. Man.
It's hard, and that's
it was intimidating to me at first.
To
I'm
speak-
still getting into it.
to speak on the going places alone. That's the hardest one. You can't just go to a new cuisine solo and anticipate that you know what you're gonna. You need somebody to bring you in.
Oh
and do
yeah,
your thing.
especially with Korean food, you need a host.
You need
a
somebody
guy
who knows what the
who,
fuck.
who shows you what to order and
Yeah.
how to order and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Absolutely.
So what's the website? Tumblr people who
Table for one.
Table for one. so that's never people eating Korean food by themselves, as it turns out.
Well, I mean, once you've had it a few times, go fucking hit it hard, you know.
So let's plug anything. Do we need to plug anything? What do you
I mean,
check out the band?
yeah, I mean, I've got a ton of fucking bands.
Yeah, so
Check them all out.
check all the bands. So who are you playing with now, and what's the upcoming schedule look like?
Well, the bands that I'm currently wrapping up new records with, I play with a aggressive punk band called Ass Life.
Ass Life?
Ass Life.
Okay.
And we're finishing up our second album, so maybe we'll do some touring after that. I don't know.
Very cool.
And then the most accessible one, you could say, is called The Primals.
The Primals.
And it consists of three dudes who are all from bands that have followings or used to have followings. The drummer is this guy used to be the drummer in a punk band called The Explosion, which apparently had a pretty big following. And the singer is in another band called Darkest Hour. And we're doing kind of like 90s sounding alternative grunge rock type
Okay.
shit.
Very cool.
So it's not meant to just be retro revival,
Yeah.
but if you have to categorize it, it kind of is. you know?
Yeah. That's tough when you gotta start cramming stuff into categories. People do that with comedy. They go, "So what's your comedy?" I don't know. I mean, it's about me. It's
Yeah,
about my
whatever.
life.
I'm
Yeah.
just talking into a mic. Just
It's
being
good.
myself,
Come
so
to
give me
the
a
fucking show,
break. Give
yeah.
me a break. But yeah, also, I mean, if you're listening to this, you must be interested in porn. So, buy some porn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nowadays, there's a whole new DIY type of thing for porn stars too. There's this website called manyvids.com. Where you can kind of do it yourself. You kind
Upload your
of
stuff.
post your own clips, whether you've shot professional content, which you own the rights to,
Yeah.
or if you're making amateur stuff. But it's kind of the first place where you can really like start to build your own,
Yeah.
kind of like start your own company in a sense.
It's the
with this
open
website.
mic of porn.
Yeah, in a sense. So yeah, if you're interested in that, please check out my many vids, chadalva.manyvids.com. And
then plug the Twitter.
buy some clips and buy some porn and keep this machine going, keep it oiled. My Twitter is Chad Alva, ALVA, XXX. So I mostly just post a lot of hardcore stuff on there if that's what you're into, you know.
Cool. All right, good shit. Well, we appreciate you guys listening. I'm Dan Frigolette. This is the Porn Stars and People podcast, episode 2. Thank you so much for being here.
That was a blast. Dropping loads.
Cool.